listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 291, The Battle of Slaves and Masters. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where demolition has started early, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Rugby Matola.
Rugby. Well, it's not Australia.
Nope.
Because that's not a state.
Yeah, no, it's not even in the United States.
This is very true.
Silly.
Oh, silly. I'm so silly. Who would be known for rugby?
North Dakota.
Okay, I wouldn't in a million years, even knowing we were probably somewhere there alphabetically. What's the big deal with them and rugby?
Rugby is the geographical center of North America.
Oh, it's a town name?
Yeah, I guess.
I thought you meant the sport.
Yeah, there's a lot of rugby going on in North Dakota.
But that's why I was curious. I just I didn't know they must have a really deep rugby culture in yeah, who knows?
Yeah. No, well, that's I don't know. I just read them. I didn't come up with them.
So yeah, we started demolition in our kitchen upstairs this morning. Yes, it's quite it's great. It's going to be great. They packed up all the stuff. Tomorrow they're going to pick it up, and then the whole downstairs is just going to be empty. It's very eerie. It's like even more empty than when we moved in because all the cabinets are gone and everything. So, but it's nice. It's nice to know it's underway, and just hoping we can. Those guys are monsters. They came in at 9 o'clock this morning, and by 3 o'clock, everything was packed up in boxes. They ripped all the cabinets down, ripped it all the built-ins, tore walls down. Like, I was like, holy crap, I was not expecting them to do that much in one day. So
nice.
But I'm excited for it to be over and for us to have our a new house that we can live in the downstairs of. But hey, folks, if you want to support the Deep Purple Podcast, you can do so a number of ways. One is by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Our show is 100% listener supported and ad free. So if you receive value from our show, please consider giving us some value back. We would really appreciate it. I promise I won't use it to buy new things for my kitchen. We'd need a lot more patrons to cover this one. But yeah, we put all the money back into the show, and our next episode should be proof of that. I hope. You can buy some merch at our Etsy stores. We do have. Oops, let me reach down here. We've got these. We've got these brand new embroidered caps. And we're going to have a new one. Hopefully I'll have it for the next episode. Oh, maybe not because we're recording kind of soon. But we're going to have a purple version of the hat.
With the logo. I like that.
They sent me, they send me all kinds of deals, and they sent me this really good deal for like, oh, you can get this number of hats 50% off or whatever. I was like, oh, I'll do another little small run because it was a good price, and we'll put those up in the Etsy store too. So if you want to buy a nice embroidered hat, please check out our Etsy store.
And for all you New Englanders, just in time for that 77-degree weather today that we got friggin' bitch slapped with.
Yeah, we 80 degrees here.
I mean, not complaining, but I mean, it's like when you put away all the summer stuff and or you kind of like move it to the side and you start getting out the sweatshirts and everything, and turn on the heat, get ready for the cold weather. You're like, oh, what? Make up your mind.
I've got the AC doing that. Well, I'm running the heat in the morning on the way to work and the AC on the way home. And then I've got the house heat and AC going together. So the heat's coming on in the morning, the AC is coming on in the afternoon. It's like, let's pick one. I don't like this back and forth.
Both fronts met in the living room and caused a thunderstorm.
Oh, I'm so neurotic.
Wasn't that a Woody Allen?
Probably.
I can't remember. They were just running the heat in this room and the AC in the other room, and the two fronts met up in my living room, and there was a rain shower or something.
I don't know if it's Woody Allen, but it's definitely something.
Yeah, it was a comedian. I don't remember who.
Or maybe you made it up and it's part of Matola's one-man show that's going to be coming up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let me take credit. No, I'm not going to take credit for it just in case somebody knows, like, oh, it was, I don't know, somebody.
It was that guy.
It was that guy,
You
Fuckface
know him.
McGee, or whoever, Chris was talking about on Pot of Thunder.
Who McGee?
Do you remember, like, it was like last week, he came up with the name for a blues guy, and it was like Fuckface McGee or something. It was like,
That's great. That's a great name.
I don't know. I could be like way off. But
It was really weird because I was at work and there's this guy at work that he always comes and talks to me about music because we have a lot of like similarities. And he came to my office yesterday and was like talking to me. Oh yeah, King Crimson's coming around and that Beat tour and everything. And he started talking about the what's the name of the album the name of the album. Well, I can't remember the name of the King Crimson album. But he's talking to me about all his songs, and then this morning I fire up Pot of Thunder. It's one of the songs from the album he was just talking to me about last night. I'm like, what are the odds?
Not good.
Not good. Just like
not so good.
But you can become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal or donate on Cash App, $DPPOD, or support us on Ko-fi. We would appreciate it. We'll read we'll welcome you in the patrons fold, read your announcement that you have and all that happy jazz. But before we move on, we want to thank our patrons at the first level, our executive level patrons at the In Memoriam tier, the wonderful late Gerald, Jerry, Kelly, and family. At the $25 Uncommon Man tier, we have Ovis Nakfi. At the 15 Squid tier, we have Alan. At the 10-pound tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. At the turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard Mortensen, Mikkel Steen, Will Porter, PhDPP, and Michael, don't call him Bradford Bagford. At the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans. And Peter from Illinois. And at the Hughes-Oween by 2033 tier, soon to be named something else, we have Fielding Fowler. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. The shows are happening in the UK. I've been seeing pictures. It's really great to see folks getting together and enjoying those shows. If you're listening to this, you have missed the deadline for our In Rock episode. In fact, it might have already come out. No, I don't think it'll have come out yet. But we'll be soon having amongst our patrons. As a patron, you get access to our rating spreadsheet. You get access to join our live stream episodes, and you get access to our patrons only Discord. Also, the ability to submit rankings for our album rankings episode. Next one coming up will be Fireball. I'll get more information as we know exactly when that will be happening. All right. And before we get into the episode proper, there's one last thing we need to do, and that is Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut. And this one, is this from Connecticut? Where is this from? No, a neighboring state in New England. I don't know if you can see this. It says East India Square. So I thought that was Providence at first.
Nah, definitely doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it, but what is it? India Point or whatever. But yeah, those buildings are not Providence, but it says Salem, Massachusetts. Beautiful fountains, brick and cobblestone sidewalks, gift and specialty shops and restaurants all make this lovely walking mall area a delight for young and old. The center of attraction is the world famous Peabody Museum. It says, Nate, now here is a happy Halloween for you. Buh, Pete. Missed us by just a couple of days for our Halloween episode.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not a happy Halloween if you go to those parts right now.
Why?
Don't even think about going
crowded.
to Salem. Don't even think about going to Salem in October. Absolute shit show.
Oh, the wannabe witches showing up.
Ugh, it's just, I was discussing this with somebody the other day. I mean, I don't, I mean, all right, who am I kidding? I'm antisocial. So anyways, I don't,
I'm not
but
antisocial. You were gonna say that.
yeah, but then I realized, yeah, I am. But it's like I like going to stuff, but it's just I feel like certain things like the experience of like going to Salem for the haunted happenings in October is so overblown and so many people are trying to make a quick buck and the people that live there are trying to profit off of it and so many people want to go to it that like I think I went up there maybe a few years ago with one of my friends. I know I talked about it and it was just
Yeah,
shoulder to
yeah,
shoulder
yep.
people. It wasn't even fun. Um, so I tend to like to go to things like that. Like I like to go out and do stuff and partake just like everybody else. I mean, we all deserve to, but I want to pick like the least busiest days. If you tell me like, oh, a Tuesday at like noon is the least busy time or Tuesday at 8 p.m., like I'll go with either one as long as
Yep.
I can get the experience and not have to deal with like not getting in anywhere, having to pee my pants before I could find a public bathroom. It's like, it's just, you wait like an hour to get into like this, old witch house that's not even worth it. It's,
I just this witch house isn't even worth it. Boo!
I don't know, it's just,
You should make a competing town, like make another, like pick a town in Rhode Island and say, "Oh, this is where some real rich stuff, witch stuff went down," and you could,
yeah, rich stuff. Yeah. Oh, out in the suburbs of Foxborough, rich
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, not that kind of rich, but witch stuff. You could be like, "This is Matola's haunted hideaway."
Blee.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great. But
Well, anyways, so a
but
little
then it
bit
would
of a
become
tangent there.
overrun, and you wouldn't want to do that either.
Well, exactly, because then I'd want to make a quick buck and the whole thing. Hey, we probably should have talked about this on the Halloween episode, but I found out about this later.
We're gonna talk about all this Halloween stuff
No, no,
after
just
Halloween.
one other thing. I come to learn about this, and I don't know if it's got to be a thing now. It's called the haunted houses, but there's a touch and no touch experience. Have you heard about
I
this?
have heard about this. Somebody I work with is very into, the one of those people is really into Halloween, and she dresses up like all
Yeah.
October. She came to work the other day wearing these like contact lenses that had X's on them where the eyes should be. It
Yikes.
was freaky. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, it
whoa.
is.
Like I didn't know where to look. It was really cool though. It was very realistic. But yeah,
Yeah,
she's very
somebody.
great. But I think she told me about this because she actually works at haunted houses like on the
Yeah.
side.
So somebody that I work with told me about this. So I was, kind of looking it up, and there's one in my area, and I wasn't expecting it. They're just like so for I don't know something like $5 extra, you can go for the touch experience, and I'm like, the hell is that, right? And it's
It
like,
sounds dirty.
well, that's the whole thing, right? And then I'll get to it. So I was reading the reviews and they're just like, oh yeah, the actors like they have I guess you might sign a waiver or something like that, but you
Yeah.
pay extra for people to like basically rough you up when you go through the haunted house and it makes the
Rough you.
experience more
Like they hurt
terrifying.
you?
No, they don't. No, but they'll like push you
Grab your
around.
shoulders or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll push you around, they'll corner you, and like they'll physically won't let you continue. And like a couple of them were like, oh, one of the actors like wrapped their hands around my throat, and I'm just like, Jesus
Jesus.
Christ.
I
Oh,
I see. I would pay extra to not have that.
that's what I was gonna say. I'll pay extra for people to keep their fucking hands off me in those places. Right. So I was telling somebody about this today and she at work and she looked at me and she goes, that just sounds weird and kinky. It's just
Yeah, it
like,
does. It's yeah. Like, is there a safe word?
I mean, I feel,
Candy
yeah, the
corn.
same,
Candy corn.
but I guess you put, they have like a necklace or, a wristband that you could take on and off and they're just, oh, don't worry about it. You just take it off and then they leave you alone. But, they're
It's like
instructed
a
to like,
Brazilian steakhouse. You flip that card. No, no, I don't want any more touching.
but I mean, it's just like, it sounds like dangerously like these people are getting dangerously close to just like paying people to do kinky shit to them. It's like it sounds like, well, really, you go somewhere, you pay extra, you're just like, yeah, well, while we're doing it, slap me around a little bit. It's like that's
Yeah.
what that is. And I'm just like, this sounds like really like shit's getting weird out there, okay?
Yeah, I've never been like big into like that sort of like horror stuff or anything. Like I don't know. I don't. It doesn't really grab me. Like I like watching like the old Bela Lugosi movies and stuff. That stuff's fun, but
Blue.
yeah, even the stuff that's got some sort of oh, that was too quiet. I'll bring you up in the mix here. That's better. But stuff that's got a little camp to it or whatever, but like the
Yeah.
stuff that's just really super freaky and scary. I don't know.
I mean, I enjoy like, all eras of horror movies. When I was younger, I like to go to those the haunted houses and, Rocky Horror with the live cast and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. And it's like, I suppose that if my nieces were here, I do that stuff with them as, an adult and stuff. But I mean just, as an adult, I would like, call up my friends and be like, want to go to a haunted house?
Some people love it. People are
I
like,
know.
this is their season. Like they wait all year for this. So
I don't know. I'm just too chill for that these days.
too, too antisocial.
Yeah, that.
But hey, folks, we're not here to talk about haunted houses.
No, we're not.
We're
We're
here
a
to
little
talk
late
about
for
houses that have fires in the basement, where people eat breakfast in bed, where the houses are a little ramshackle. Maybe there'll be a fortune teller somewhere. I don't know. There'll be a sister that needs to slow down. Lots of stuff like that. But we're here to talk about the Battle of Slaves and Masters, which is a bootleg-ish sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a bunch of outtakes from both Slaves and Masters and Battle Rages On, because those albums are kind of tied together. There's a few different bootlegs out there. One of them is just called like Deep Purple Outtakes. One is called
Original.
yeah, which is doesn't really. I mean, there's a lot of outtakes, right? One is called The Battle of Slaves and Masters. We'll be pulling heavily from that, and with some help from a few folks, Martin Ashford and Doug Macbeth. They kind of put together a list of different songs that are out there. I got some of them. Some of them I don't know if they'll work or whatever. But yeah, it's basically a look into that period, because it's an interesting period and probably the only period in Deep Purple history where you have these songs that could have been touched by both Gillan and JLT. So both sets of songs, like some of this stuff was probably around. Gillan might have jammed on it with the band a little bit, and then JLT came in and actually did it and finished it. And then you've got the opposite happening on the other end, where they started up the stuff with JLT, he jammed on it with them a little bit, and then Ian Gillan came in and took it over. So there's not a ton of stuff of them like singing the others' songs, although some of them kind of twisted those songs into other things. But what we hear here is a lot of like jams and things with them working on the songs in that time period.
Okay.
We know that they had, and we talked about it probably in our Slaves and Masters and our Battle Rages On episodes, that these songs were going and had working titles before Gillan came in and just kind of redid them. So some of them are known as other things. Some of them are jams. Some of them are instrumentals. Some of them are songs with different lyrics. But figured it's going to be a quick episode so I can get back to my house, the real horrors that lie upstairs.
No cabinets.
So yeah, I thought we could go through some of these and kind of listen to what the band was going through at that time, and kind of lend our take on the early renditions of some of these songs. So what do you think?
Sounds interesting. I don't think I've heard these. I mean, I've heard of them. I think you discussed them when we did the episode of one or maybe both of the albums, but I don't think I've heard any of these outtakes. So it definitely sounds interesting.
I want to say we had this episode on the books like a long time ago, and then at the last minute we switched it up for some reason. So this will be our first like dive into this, and there's going to be other stuff out there. I got links to a bunch. Almost all of this stuff, if not all of it, is available on YouTube. Jeff Bryce actually sent me a CD a while back, a couple of CDs, and one of them was an extended version of this. And so I'm going to be pulling pretty much everything we're going to be listening to is from what Jeff sent me. He's got some really, really great stuff that he shared with me over the years. So let's, we do have some sort of album art that I can put up instead of looking at our ugly mugs. But the first one we have up is an early version of Ramshackle Man. And honestly, the quality is not too bad on this stuff.
All right. That's an interesting little mashup for artwork.
Yeah, they kind of superimpose the battle rages on dragons over the top of the slaves and masters. So I don't know if this is just Gillen sort of ad-libbing, but so in listening to some of these, there were like two Gillens there for a second. I don't know what that was about, but in listening to some of these, and that's it, that just kind of fades out. So it's kind of cool.
Right.
I like kind of, I don't want to call them albums, but like little collections of music like this, like it gives you a taste of what was going on at that time and is kind of more like a compilation. It's kind of interesting to listen to. And sometimes you just hear things in a more raw and less polished state.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, what I was going to say is I might have an unpopular opinion with some of these, but some of these I kind of like better than the albums themselves.
Well, I was going to say, just listening to that one track alone, I think I like it better than the album track.
Yeah. And I know these are not the two most popular Deep Purple albums by any stretch of the imagination. They've got people that love both of them, or one or the other, are huge fans of one or the other, but largely they are not considered at the top of the heap. So, but for me, I think with both of them, it does come down to like the production. So hearing more of a raw version of some of these songs is kind of interesting. Next up is Twisting the Tail here. Well, early, I don't know if we'll play the whole thing, but not terribly different.
No, it sounds very similar.
Yeah, I love what he does. I would love to have some isolated vocals of Gillen doing.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little bit of an idea of that particular track. Getting that really frantic rainbow style guitar playing.
Yeah, I mean, there was really, I mean, we've, heard other versions of these, or I think you're right about these not being the two most popular albums. At least widely recognized by Purple fans. But there's some good moments on there, but neither one of these albums I ever go to for anything. But it's like I wasn't mad that they played like Anya.
No, it's great.
Recently, but I mean, do I go back and listen to the Battle Rages On version? Never.
No.
So there's some bright spots in there, but overall they're not they're not go-tos in the catalog.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. May they have been if they went with a different production? Because remember, too, production is based on the time and who the producer was, and they put their kind of stamp on it. So it's like if they'd gone with like a more raw producer, or they already met Ezrin or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know?
But you said you spoke about Anya, and here we have Anya.
Ah,
Now, I know he talks about he being Roger Glover, about editing down this kind of improvised Blackmore acoustic thing into the intro. Flashes of Blackmore's Night.
not bad though, just because I know it's not going to be like 5 minutes of this.
Yes. No hurdy-gurdy. It sounds like a different keyboard patch being used, maybe. Or maybe it's just how it's EQ'd.
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of a different feel to it. Yeah. Yeah, I think because the kind of the grandiose sounding keyboards play such a big part in the song, this sounds like a little kind of cheap.
Yeah, I would say
this sounds more demo-ish.
Yeah, it's probably like a lot, kind of like what we've talked about before with Uncommon Man, something about like those like almost horns that don't necessarily always work for me. But great rockin' version. And we've got here we go. This is an instrumental, although I think it's a short instrumental. The battle rages on. Sounds like Hendrix here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now it sounds like Richie.
Yeah. He's losing the plot a little here. But it's kind of cool. It's just them. Oh, wow. They kind of like did it. They did those stops a little differently. But it's a good, like, glimpse into what it must be like in their process of just jamming on a song and working those parts out. This is a pretty badass song. Like, as far as this album goes, I think this is probably the most killer track on it.
I mean, you got a lot of that Snake Charmer riff going on in there.
Yep.
I mean, this, like Anya, like some of the other songs, he really uses that a very similar scale, it sounds like.
Yep.
Very Richie, like you said, very rainbow sounding, kind of leaning into the direction he would go with later on.
And then it goes right into a it seems to be a full version of the song. Just listen to a little bit about. I think it's like this one's a little faster than the album version.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely a cool riff.
Seeing the lyrics pretty much the same, so no, that's a little different. It's a double tracking too on the vocals, so.
Yeah, definitely a little more raw too in like the vocal phrasing. On the album, I never liked it when he went "kill 'em all."
You didn't? Why don't you like that?
I don't know the way he sang it. I don't know.
I like you got that lower register singing with the higher register going.
No, that's cool. I like that. But I mean, just hearing some of this stuff again is like makes me kind of want to go back and listen to it again.
Exactly.
Just to check it out, see if it's any good.
I mean, that opening track is killer, but I think what we probably talked about at the time and is it sounds like an album that was stitched together from a bunch of pieces that were maybe not supposed to fit together.
Yeah.
But that's a cool track. There's a couple more here from Battle Rages On. We got an early version of Lick It Up, not the Kiss cover. Talking about sounding like Hendrix.
Right.
Sounded like he said, "My shoes are getting hairy."
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah. I don't know if I just don't know if I love the lyrics on this either.
No.
No, because I never liked the fact that the song was called Lick It Up, because it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't write a song called Lick It Up when Kiss already has one.
Yeah, I mean, there's some song titles that are very, I guess very, like, there's a million songs with the same title.
Yeah. But, I also don't like when he writes lyrics about his guitar. In the shape of my guitar, I
Yeah.
grabbing my guitar, I'm playing my guitar. It's all right, it's like I don't like that.
Just
Just
Gillen or
feels
anybody? You don't like people talking about?
no, no, just like lyrics about like Johnny was a young man and out on the streets and all this, just like tropes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know, they just like they hit my ear the wrong way. It's like you hear it and you're like, you couldn't have come up with something else.
You stick through Richie's solo here. All right, so we'll cut it off there, but yeah, I think yeah, good early look on it. I get what you're saying about the lyrics. There's certain things that just kind of rub. I don't like in songs when they're like, I smoked a cigarette. So many songs are like, I smoked a cigarette, and you're just like, I don't sound so lame to me. Ooh, like
Yeah,
it's like, am I supposed to be like, oh wow, this is a dangerous person, or like, what am I
yeah,
supposed to like? You know what I mean? I just that's always rubbed me the way that probably the guitar thing rubs you.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just like I think like a lot of the things that bother me on this album as a whole is some of the lyrics.
Yeah, one man's meat,
For that, we've already talked about. Yeah, they're
another
just
another man's aching butt. I don't have that one here. Sorry.
yeah. I don't know. Just some of them were weird. Some of them were just like I said, just kind of hit the wrong way.
Yeah, for sure. The last little bit we got here is from Battle Rages On, I should say, is Solitaire. Let's check this out. Wow, that sounds like something you would have done on like Whoosh or something vocally.
Yeah.
I don't remember it sounded quite like this on the album. It definitely sounds like an Ezrin era Gillen vocal. Yeah, part sounds kind of the same.
Yeah. I forgot about I forgot about the chorus. Really, solitaire.
Solitaire. All right, so yeah, nothing crazy there. I think in the slaves and masters section is when we start to get into a lot more jams and kind of them working on songs, but some pretty good
Cool.
early renditions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so before we move on, take a moment to thank our next level of patrons, and that is, of course, going to be our core level patrons. So coming in at the $8.99 What's Going On Here tier, we have Richard Fusey, At the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, we have Michael Vader.
Impressive.
At the $6.99 new nice price tier, we have Spike the Rock Cat and Sugar Tea. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell, Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving.
Pain in the glaving!
And Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 Almost Evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith. At the $5.99 the nice price tier, Robert Smith and Carl Helberg. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have Newt Morton Johansson. At the $5 Moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Oleksiy, The Perfect Stranger Slepikov, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zerns, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Kaff.
My Czechoslovakian is not so good.
Coyote Bongwater. John Maselli.
I was just checking out the dessert tray, you know that 7-layer cake only has 6 layers.
Sarah Sanders.
Oh, scandalous.
Jelly Bean and Evan Robinson. Thank you so much for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. Hey, your cake only has 6 layers.
You shortened me a layer.
Great episode. All right, so the next section, we get kind of more into the Slaves and Masters era, and here we've got kicking it off with an instrumental version of Fire in the Basement. Starts off almost like Wring That Neck.
Yeah.
Ooh. Great rip and bass tone from Roger.
Hell yeah. I always liked this song.
Yeah, it's a good track.
Yeah, it sounds very typical early Purple.
Yep.
I like it.
I don't think without the vocals, it's much more noticeable how it's just kind of a standard 12-bar blues.
Mm-hmm. It's cool to hear just the music behind it. No vocal.
Yep.
Yeah, it just really has that. I always felt this song had that really kind of cool, laid back, bluesy, lazy kind of feel to it.
Yeah. Yep. Great driving track.
Yeah. That's why this is one of the songs that I would always come back to on this album.
I think somebody let an elephant loose upstairs. Only thing that could explain the sound of those footsteps. It sounds like based on the quality of this recording, I feel like you could put like some crowd noise underneath it and say, "Oh yeah, this is a bootleg of them playing live in 1972," and
Yeah.
people would believe you.
I would have.
Coming up, there is a version of, some of these are just named like jam sessions, but some of them have parts of songs in them. But I know there's a version of Breakfast in Bed with different lyrics, but on this version, I don't know what it's called. Very abrupt ending. All right, next is Fortune Teller. It's kind of cool. This is very different. I'd like to have like a scientific explanation of why I like this better than the better produced albums. Like, I understand that the albums are produced better and that they sound better, but why do I like this more?
Because like I think the jam style, more raw nature of it just appeals to you more. I mean, it does to me. I mean, I typically like demos and jams more than I like the finished product. If I hear them side by side.
This is when we used to play music, and I know me and Dan used to like record a lot of demos. Like, well, I don't want to say demos, but we didn't have any decent equipment, so we just recorded whatever. And I would listen to that stuff so much, and it sounded like this, you know, like it was very,
yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as this, I guess, but it was as very loose and very not very good audio quality, but maybe it's a fondness of those days when this was probably the best audio quality we could have achieved.
Oh yeah, this definitely was for us.
Dan was also notorious for just basically ad-libbing lyrics to songs every time he sang them.
Yeah.
Trying new things out.
That's cool.
Kind of like a cool, like, flangey effect or something he had on there. All right, well, I'll kill it there. It's just a little bit left, but this next one is just a jam session, and I want to see if I can figure out which one this is. I think this is the one that was this is a song that didn't make the album. It was called Another Way, and then in parentheses, Beautiful Lady. Beautiful Lady!
Hi. You definitely got some crazy kind of pick in there from Richie.
Yeah, like palm muting, picking out those chords.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like the Lost Rainbow demos.
Yeah. I love instrumentally what's going on here. It
Yeah, this
sounds
is some
like
good stuff.
it sounds like they're playing it with for like the benefit of JLT to just kind of sing over it and see what he can come up with, you know. So the band sounds really tight, and JLT's trying a few different things and seeing what sticks. I feel like you can hear the bass better on those demos than you can on the album.
Yeah. Tragedy.
So that is Another Way, Beautiful Lady. And then we have a version of Slow Down Sister, which is not on the album, but is my favorite song on Slaves and Masters. I think we covered this on one of our bonus track episodes. The actual finished version, that is. I really like his keyboard solo on this one too. I don't know what it sounds like on this version. All right, so
That's
this
a cool
is
groove.
an unpolished instrumental version of the song, but yeah, it's got a cool groove. I
Mhm.
don't understand why that album didn't, why that song didn't make the album. To me, it's I would have kicked off
Yeah.
almost any other song. Then we've got, this is a very short jam session number 2. Sounds like he's messing around with an octave over there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Very short one, but um, man, I just don't know what it is that they're getting in their sound here. That's, I mean, like you said, I guess, like you said, it's got to be the feel.
I mean, it's but because I mean that's how Deep Purple has always been best. Is live, raw. You know that kind of unscripted type
Yeah,
of thing. Like you know, they've always kind of hit more of a note when they've been like that. So I think around this time when they were getting maybe a little polished, it didn't you know, it didn't really resonate in the same way.
yeah, yeah. And probably a lot of pressure to use some of the recording techniques of the time, and to, I think
Yeah.
between Slaves and Masters, you really go from like a um, late hair metal era to mid grunge. There's very big gap between those albums, even though it was 3 years.
Hmm.
But yeah, we've talked about those albums before. But yeah, man, but I think there's so much they could have captured from this playing that would have really benefited them.
Yeah.
So this one's another. Was that the same one? This is another short jam. Let's check this one out. Almost sounds like what he's doing on like Malice in Wonderland. The beginning of Ghost Story. Now this one just like ends abruptly, but then goes right into the next one, which is oh, actually, no, it sounds like that was like the first beginning part of that. Let's hear. Let's see. Oh, it's like two different versions, but one of them's longer for some reason.
Yeah.
So there's some other versions of songs. There's a song called The Long Goodbye, which I don't know if that was a holdout, but they used to name the tour many, many years later. There's a song called Like a Hurricane. Rocking Tonight Like a Hurricane. That's like that's a lot.
Rocking
We're rocking
tonight.
tonight in the manner of a hurricane. There's another song called Your Love Is Something. And I'll have links to all of these in the show notes here.
I mean, this one sounds like it's just like fiddling around.
Yeah, this is just futzing around in the studio. But at some point it busts into Slow Down Sister. But I do, in the honor of our listener and patron Joe Sigler, I do have to see if I can dig up this alternate version of Breakfast in Bed with different lyrics. I think it says it's alternate lyrics, as if are they worse than the lyrics we finally got about Legs Over Easy?
Oy.
Let's hear.
I don't know. Could it be? Could it be?
Could it be? Let's see if I can find it here. Here we go. Different lyrics. hear what he's got for lyrics this time.
I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell what he's saying. Sounds better. He's like a hound time assuming I'm a human hair. Like he's just like kind of making the sounds. That's totally what it sounds like. It sounds like he sounds like Aerosmith or like something Steven Tyler would do.
Yeah, he likes to do all that scatting.
Hamanama himanama hamana who?
Skeeting
Or
and the
Vince Neil.
scatting.
That was more like Vince Neil. I got a scam and someone in a humanama hooja, a simanama humana who. Like it sounds like that kind of a thing, you know? He's like, nah, man, these lyrics are too generic. I gotta go with something. I gotta go with a bunch of breakfast metaphors.
Well, I think that anything would be better than the breakfast lyrics.
Legs over easy.
I mean, it was amusing, but I mean,
It sounds like he's singing it differently here too. Like
yeah,
I don't
there's
think he had that same
yeah.
cadence in the Breakfast in Bed one. Not my most heard ever Deep Purple song, to be fair, but I'm playing this from a like one of those Deep Purple videos. I'll have the link in the show notes. But just you know those videos on YouTube where it just shows like random pictures throughout the video. This is just a picture of some boobs on during this part. And it says "Wicked Ways." Like, okay. Now it's a picture of JLT singing.
Oh my goodness.
Now people are going to be looking for that. It's about, all right, everybody. It's like the 3-minute and 30-second mark. In case you never saw boobs before. Beady boom boom. Well, there you have it, folks. Oh, my screen sharing was paused. There you have it. So yeah, there's some other stuff out there, but you know, we were looking to, quite frankly, put together a quick episode because my life and house are in turmoil. We were like, it was one of those things where we're like, we could probably still cook, and now we look at the kitchen and we're like, yeah, we're going out for dinner. There's just no getting around it.
No, I mean, unless you want to like, you know, cook outside like your ancestors.
My ancestor.
You know, just wash the plates with the hose.
Well, it's forgot almost how we've been living. We're doing the dishes in the freaking laundry room sink. Of course, if we didn't have that sink, it would be the tub. And that would be no good.
Well, you go out to eat, and then when you get that beautiful new kitchen, you invite me over.
I certainly will. I feel like, especially after the last time that you and Rich came to visit, at least you'd been here before. Although last time you were here, our house was under construction too.
Yeah, one time I'd like to come over and the house isn't under construction.
Yeah, I want to like properly host you. Yeah, and same thing with Rich. Like he came over and was just over here briefly, but it's like, yeah, I'd like to. I mean, the original plan was that you guys were going to stay here, but that was off the table as soon as everything got ripped apart. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely do that. But before we wrap things up, we of course have to thank our last level of patrons. And that is, of course, our foundation level patrons. I'm on the wrong spreadsheet here. Where am I? Here we are. Our foundation level patrons coming in at the £3.50 Deep Purple New York tier. We have Lord Longford. At the £3 Aromatic Feed tier, we have Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the $3.33 Halfway to Evil tier, we have Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask.
Smoke on the water while you're in the sky.
I love how she says, water. So cute. At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardeau. Ian DeRosier. The Prague Frog himself. Mark Roback. Stuart McCord. Ivan Fjellbu. Runar Simonsen. Ruinous Inadequacies. Corey Morissette. Ashley. Rose. Weston Supermare Pilgrim. Joe Dopefish Sigler. At the $1.71 I Want My Own tier, we have
Rich, Youngwee, Shaylor.
I know who Rich is. Rich is my favorite.
Who the hell is that?
at the 10 kroner tier, we have Karsten Lau.
Cold, hard Danish kroner.
And at the $1 made-up name tier, we have the breakfast in bed. Leaky Mausoleum.
Breakfast in Dead.
Yeah, that's much better.
There we go. I saved it. I saved it.
Breakfast in Dead. So
We're
obvious.
just doing too many Halloween type of things here on our post-Halloween episode.
Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic. Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel.
Blackmore tights.
Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Derple Purple, Purple Swede.
Swede.
David Haddam, Graham Bonnets, Disco Pants and Haircuts, and Eddie Lyon.
Homosexual.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. You'll have to let us know what you think. Do you have any ideas for any other shorter episodes? Because between all of this remodeling and the holidays coming up and everything, we're going to need some shorter episodes. What happened to my hair?
Well, we
Is it like that the whole episode?
no,
Okay.
no. I was wondering that. It's like I looked up and it was that way.
All of a sudden, I look like I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, maybe we could one of our episodes we could do use your idea that you said to me earlier is that we could just read off the patrons and that's it. We'll be
Yeah,
done in
that's what I
20
said.
minutes.
It's going to be a short episode. Yeah, we're just going to come on. We'll read the 3 levels of patrons. We'll wrap it up. If there's a postcard, we'll do it.
And then, we'll just say Deep Purple a couple of times and then we can call it an episode.
You remember that album Machine Head? That was pretty cool. All right, see you next week.
Yeah, so we'll get into our light and breezy fall format, autumn format.
Yes. Light and breezy, hard to pleasy.
We'll do some stuff here. So this was relatively relatively short, very enjoyable. You know me, I love demos.
Yep.
I love my demos, short and sweet.
There's plenty more demos where that came from, so I'll have to
Oh,
like the implication that was a double entendre. Hey, got a lot more demos where that come from, if you know what I mean.
ooh, ooh! If I pay an extra $5, will you give me some? Will you hit me with some of them demos?
I'll just take a CD and just whack you over the head with it.
I'll pay an extra
Splintering
$5 to not touch me with those demos.
I'll crack a CD in half and use it as a shiv to stab you.
All right, now we're getting it's going too far here. All right.
House of Horrors. Ah!
Ah, shit.
All right, John, and our listeners, we'll be back at you next week with another episode. What will it be? Well, you have to tune in and find out, and hopefully we'll be.
You will.
Hopefully, my house will not be in complete chaos.
Yeah, Nate will be like, "What's all that background noise?" And you just see the foundation of his house behind him, no walls. Oh shit!
You'd be like, "Oh, there's a lot more light than you usually have when you record." Oh yeah, there's no house above me.
Let's hope that won't be it.
They had to take it into the shop.
Yeah, best of luck to you, my friend.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, my friend.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.